Hello guys, this is CodeNCode and this is fifth lecture of Java design pattern series. In this lecture, we are going to learn about creational design patterns, right? One of the creational design patterns, that is abstract factory pattern. In the last lecture, we have covered abstract method pattern. In this lecture, we are going to cover abstract factory pattern. So let's see how it is different from that one, what it does, and how to implement all of it, right? So abstract factory uh, so it provides an interface for creating families of related or dependent objects without specifying their concrete classes. So both of these design patterns, abstract method and factory method and abstract factory pattern, both of these provide an interface for creating object without specifying their concrete classes. Remember? So both of these do the same thing. In abstract factory method, you initialize families of related objects. This is very important. I'll explain this with an example. Okay, it helps ensure that the objects created together are compatible while keeping the creation logic separate from the client code, which is very important to promote loose coupling, right? So client code shouldn't be responsible for creating object. That's why we are learning about these design patterns. So this thing is very clear. Creating creation logic separate. It keeps the creation logic separate. This thing is very clear. And this thing that it helps ensure that the objects created together are compatible, right? Are compatible. This thing I'll explain in a moment, all right? With an example. So let's say you wanted to create a database application. The major part of database application is to connect to a database and execute queries. Most important part, right? So to connect to the database, you need a class DB connection, right? An object of that class. And then to execute query, you need the query executor class object, right? So the object of this class does the job of connecting to the database. Once you have established the connection, you can send the queries and execute those queries, get the result, right? So the job of sending the query and executing them, that job, query executor is responsible for that job. Now, your application supports multiple kinds of databases like PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQLite, right? Things like that. So DB application supports multiple kind of database. That means there will be different kind of database connections and different kind of database query executors. For example, let's take an example of two different connections. So there'll be a class SQL DB connection to connect to SQL database. There'll be a class PSQL DB connection to connect to the PostgreSQL database, right? So there will be different implementation of DB connection. Similarly, for query executor also, there will be different implementation of query executor based on whether you are connecting to SQL database or you are connected to PostgreSQL database or different kinds of databases. So you see, if you see here, these objects, these classes are actually related or dependent, right? This SQL database connection and SQL query executor, these two belong together, right? So here you can see we have family of related classes or related objects, right? And they must be compatible with each other. Why? So you can't create a database application where you have SQL database connection and PostgreSQL executor, right? You are connected to SQL database, then you're trying to execute queries using the dialect of PostgreSQL. That is not possible, right? So that is why you remember in the last slide it says that the objects created are compatible with each other. Okay, so the object that you are creating, they must be compatible with each other. That means when you are creating an SQL connection, you must create SQL query executor, right? So this is what abstract factory method, abstract factory pattern provides you. It gives you a way to initialize the objects, keeping the creation logic separate from the client code, and also make sure that the objects created are compatible with each other, right? And it works with families of related objects, right? So yeah, this is an example that you'll be able to understand where abstract factory method actually works, right? So if this is the example that we are going to cover using the code, right? We are going to implement abstract factory method using this example. So you see, there are three different interfaces: connection, database factory, and query executor, right? So these are the three interfaces because there can be multiple connections as we studied in the last example, and there can be multiple executors. That's why these two are interfaces. So we have a connection interface that provides two functions, connect and disconnect, right? So from this you can define two concrete classes, PostgreSQL connection, MySQL connection. Both of them will provide different implementation of connect and disconnect function. First thing, so this part is clear. Now we have query executor. Again, query executor can be either an abstract class or an interface, right? Here in this case, we have an interface, right? So which provides a function execute. So you can define two implementations of it, basically two concrete classes: PostgreSQL query executor and MySQL query executor. So we know about connections, we know about query executors. Now you can define the factories. Remember, in factory patterns, you have a factory which does the job of creating the objects. So of course, we would need factory. And here you can define a database factory, right? And this factory, when you define, should be knowing all of the products of related classes, right? So basically we have two products, that is connection and query executor. These are two different products. Product means the object that you are going to create. So the database factory, right, it should have create function for both of these. So it should have a create function for connection, it should have a create function for query executor, because these are the two products or two class that are required for our database application, right? So whenever you are creating a factory in abstract factory pattern, the factory interface, right, must be knowing about all of the products. It must be providing basically a function to create all of those products, right? So in a database factory, since we need two products, connection and executor, it has create connection and create a query executor function. Since this is an interface, now using this interface, you can define different factories, right? One factory for PostgreSQL, one factory for MySQL. PostgreSQL factory will provide connector and executor for PostgreSQL, right, database, and MySQL factory will provide connection and executor for MySQL, right, MySQL database. So till this point, everything is clear. Now you can have some client or application, right? We talked about the application here. So this is the database application. So you can define a database application or database client, which will have executor and uh, executor and connection. See here, it doesn't depend on any of the concrete classes, right? It depends only on their interfaces or abstract class. Similarly, this factory also doesn't depend on any of the concrete classes, but depends on the abstract class or the interface. So which supports loose coupling, right? So yeah, the factory provides you interface to create a family of related objects, connector and executor, without actually specifying your concrete classes, but by specifying your interfaces, right? So yeah, this is the whole structure that we are going to follow. So you can clearly see here the abstract factory method provides you way to create different related objects together. PostgreSQL create two objects, right, which are related, and both of them will be PostgreSQL connection and PostgreSQL executor. Similarly, MySQL factory will provide you a method to create MySQL connection and MySQL executor. Correct. So this way you can make sure that the objects that you are creating are compatible with each other. MySQL factory will create all the objects which are related to MySQL. PostgreSQL factory will create all the objects which are related to PostgreSQL, right? So yeah, if we have a look at this, and let's go ahead and implement it. So let's see how you can actually implement the same in the Java, right? So let me just delete this. So yeah, this is the implementation. As of now, what I'm doing, I'll just explain this in a moment. So here I have this DB package, inside of which, as you can see, I have defined the connection interface, which provides two functions, connect and disconnect, and query executor, which provides only an execute function, right? These two are interfaces, right? So if we have a look here, so I have defined the connection and query executor, right? Now once I have connection, I should define MySQL connection and PostgreSQL connection, right? So here it is. MySQL connection implements connection. It does nothing, just simply prints a message that connected to MySQL database and disconnected from MySQL database, right? Similarly, PostgreSQL connection here, which implements connection, right? And again, same messages for PostgreSQL database. Simple. Now we have query executor. So we need query executor for both of them. For MySQL query executor, here we have it takes a query parameter and simply prints that this query executing this query, right? Similarly, PostgreSQL query executor. So we have defined interface for a connection and executor. We have defined the concrete classes for PostgreSQL and MySQL connector and executor. We are done with this. Now we need to define the factory. So clearly, first of all, we'll define an abstract factory, which is here, PostgreSQL, MySQL, and I must have a factory here. My bad. MySQL factory, and just a second. This is a factory, this is a factory, and this is a factory. MySQL query executor, and I must have a factory somewhere there. Okay, let's have a look at MySQL factory and implements database factory. Here it is, database factory. Okay, here it was. I was searching everywhere. So here is the database factory, right? Which is basically this part. We have another interface, database factory. Now, if you want to create a factory for MySQL database, you will create MySQL factory, right? You want to create for PostgreSQL, you will create PostgreSQL database factory, and you will implement this. It provides two methods to create both of the products, which are connector and executor, right? It is important, whatever factory you are defining, it must have knowledge of all of the product that you are going to create. So it must have create function for all of the product. We have two products, connector and executor. So we have provided two functions for creating both of these, right? Now I want MySQL factory. Here it is. So it has overridden both of those functions. So from create connection, we are returning MySQL connector, right? And from create query executor, we are returning MySQL query executor. So you see, both of the objects created by MySQL factory are compatible with each other. Very important part, right? Similarly, PostgreSQL factory. Here it is. Again, it overrides both the function from the factory and it provides PostgreSQL connection and PostgreSQL query executor, right? Again, compatible with each other. Once we have everything, now we can define the database client. So we have defined connection interface, executor interface, their concrete classes, database factory, concrete factories. Now I need to have an application that will have both connector and executor, and that will connect to the database and execute the query. And see here, the database client that you are creating is not aware of what kind of database it is working with. It should be independent, right? So here, if you see in the database client or database application, we have executor and connection. And what kind of connection, what kind of executor we have, it is independent of that, because we are depending on the interface or the abstract class, not the actual implementation. So this is loose coupling, right? In the for the constructor of database client or application, you could provide the factory, and based on whether it is SQL MySQL factory or PostgreSQL factory, it will connect it either to MySQL database or PostgreSQL database, right? So you are providing the factory. From the factory, you can create connection and executor, and after that, you can do whatever you want with the executor and connector, right? Here we have defined interact with database function with a query, so it will connect to the database, execute the query, and disconnect from the database, right? Now, if you run the example, I have created a database client using PostgreSQL factory, right? So database client or application depends on the factory, and factory you can pass anyone, either SQL or MySQL factory or PostgreSQL factory. And once you have the database client, you can call those functions. One of the functions that we have defined is interact with database, and this is the query I want to run. So if you run this, connecting to PostgreSQL database, because we have PostgreSQL database connector using the PostgreSQL factory, executing PostgreSQL query and disconnected from PostgreSQL database. Right? If I change this to let's say MySQL factory, right, and run the same code, now it will connect to MySQL database. See, with the minimal change, I was able to change it from PostgreSQL to MySQL, right? And that is the beauty of design patterns. in this case abstract factory pattern, right? So it does the job of loose coupling. So whatever changes you want to make are minimal, and that is the benefit of working with these design patterns, and that is the reason you must learn this, so your code is a lot better, right? So if you go back here, since we know the implementation of it now, I hope you will be able to implement it. And as an example, you must try to add one new database, right? Let's say MySQL, let's say SQLite database. Create factory of it, abstract classes, no, concrete class of it, and try to replace the factory in the main class to SQLite factory, right? And see if that works. Now that we know the implementation, we can go ahead and look at the benefits and the application. One of the most important part is flexibility. You can easily switch between different databases, right? We have just seen that we have changed from a PostgreSQL database to MySQL database with one simple change, right? So it promotes flexibility, decoupling. Client code is not tied to the specific database implementation. Clearly, it doesn't depend. This is the client code, right? This is the client code, and also this database client, basically database application. It doesn't depend on any specific kind of implementation of database, right? It depends on the abstract or the interface. So decoupling and also consistency. It ensures that all database related objects are compatible. In this case, we are talking about the database objects, but it applies to any of the family of objects that you are working with, which are related. So it makes sure that only the related objects are initialized together, right? So which one takes care of it? The factory class, right? So it creates related object only. So these are the benefits of abstract factory method. Right? Hope I was able to explain it at my best. Even if you have any question, you can post it down in the comment section, and I'll try my best to explain there also, right? So yeah, this is it for this lecture. Thank you for watching, and until the next video drops, keep coding. Thank you.